once you open that door to curiosity and to creativity and just give yourself the permission to play, like you don't have to change anything. You don't have to change anything about what you're currently doing. If that's what's driving whatever success that is for you, cool. But if you want to change some aspect of your life, or you want to think, okay, I don't like X part of my business. I don't like working 6 days a week. Open that door to creativity and curiosity and play.
Lauren she began her journey back at Texas Tech, where she fell in love with financial planning. She is a CFP, and she's mastered the art of making money management fun and approachable. She created Rock, Money, Scissors financial coaching to help people take charge of their financial world with confidence and curiosity. When she's not coaching, Lauren loves spending time with her husband and their 2 German shepherds, exploring, cooking, playing games, and enjoying life. Lauren, great to have you here. I'm so looking forward to chatting with you. We have so many things in common. We both love mindset. So I think we're going to have a great discussion. So Lauren, you have been a financial advisor. You're a certified financial advisor. And now you coach people to help them to manage their money and feel confident around money. I'd love to know, what made you switch over from being an advisor to becoming a coach?
Yes. So in my time as being an advisor, I loved helping people. I have this knack for kind of putting puzzles together. And so as an advisor, it was just an amazing journey to be able to see how people can make all of their goals happen with just a little bit of help from the background and the CFP world. The part that kind of got me to transition was I was in a position in my life where I wasn't yet where I needed an advisor. And so it's like, who helps those people? Who helps those people kind of build the foundation to get them to the point where they can ask financial advising questions? And so if you don't have a retirement account or investments to be managed, you don't really have those questions. And so I was like, who's helping those people? And I found out that there are financial coaches out there, but there's not as many. And there's not a whole lot of financial coaches with CFP backgrounds. And so that's when I built and created Rock, Money, Scissors Financial Coaching, was to help those people who needed that foundation of personal finance to just build and grow with them. And then if they decided they wanted an advisor, I have this network of beautiful advisors that I work with that I can refer them to and help them along their financial journey.
Wonderful. And I know you came across mindset, and mindset's played a big part in your journey. Can you share what role mindset has played and how it's helped you to get to where you are now?
So that mindset is such a big thing. And I think when I first started my journey at Texas Tech, what happened there is I didn't even know the financial planning, like being an advisor was a thing yet. Like that was just kind of like this hidden little pocket of the world that I didn't know existed. And so when I found out that there was a world that existed that kind of like had all of the things that I loved, I was like, how can this be possible? And when I figured out that thing existed, I jumped in head first in the deep end, all the things. And so I went along that journey. So that was the first thing. It's like when I found something that I was super passionate about, at the time, I don't think I was aware of that mindset, but I went head first into this thing that I really wanted to do. And throughout that journey, I noticed that, like reflecting back, I don't think at the time I knew just how much my passion led me to where I am today. And throughout that, I met different people along my journey. One was a mindset coach who helped me uncover the obstacles that I had in my, kind of that voice in the back of my head. And talking about like, who do you think you are? Or why do you think you're here? What makes you qualified to do these things? And so that coach helped me kind of peel back those questions and figure out, well, no, I am the person. Like I am, there's certain things, there's a lot of people out there who do what I do. And even if there's not a lot of people, I still want to do it. And I'm unique and I want to do these things and I want to help people. And my path is going to uncover and connect other people. And so I learned that that voice in the back of my head kind of telling me the well, what about you? Why this? Why that? Kind of sometimes the mean voice that's there. I just needed to quieten it. Just give it the stage to like say what it needs to say, but really take a look in the mirror and say, I can do this. I have the education. I have the heart. I have all of the skills that I need. I just need to step forward and be confident of all of the things that I know to be true. And so that's kind of in a nutshell how my mindset grew and I became aware of it in my journey.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So imposter syndrome is something that affects many, many people in all walks of life, whether you're in business or not. You've come across many, many financial advisors. Do you think enough attention is paid to mindset in that industry, or do you think it's something that's overlooked and people are, looking for the latest marketing, sales technique, which are obviously very, very important to get great leads coming in? So, do you think this area is addressed enough?
I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because I think when you start a business or you start this journey of becoming a financial advisor and doing all of these things, a lot of things are thrown in your in your path and right in front of your face in terms of, okay, well, you need to set up a marketing strategy or you need to get clients in the door. You need to start, you know, dialing for dollars or whatever, whatever it is that you have to get. It's really focused on the profit or on getting clients through the door. And I think the part that's really crucial in setting up your journey for success is taking time to be reflective, taking time to work on your mindset. Like I said, give that voice a stage so you can let it be and then move forward, show up as your best self, or think about, okay, I've got to do all of these things. What does it feel in your heart? Like, do you want to be doing these things? And if you've got that reservation or if you've got that thing that's like, I don't think this is right, give yourself space to do that. But I don't think that this industry kind of helps guide you to be aware of some of those things that might, I guess, hold you back in ways that you're just not aware of. So I think, yes, to answer your question, I don't think the industry does a good job of helping people navigate mindset.
Yeah, and it has a huge impact. It has a huge impact on confidence, on the ability to take risks, on how much money you believe you can have, how big you think. So I find, having working with many financial advisors, that there is a limit to how big they're thinking and what they believe is possible for them. And at the end of the day, what we want for ourselves is our life, isn't it? The goals that we have for ourselves create the life that we live. So if we think small, then, we're inevitably going to end up with less than we want to have. So do you feel that, the financial advisory industry as a whole is, what do you think are the biggest challenges facing advisors in terms of growing?
That's a really, really good question. I think for me in my journey, where I pivoted, I did something kind of against the grain. It wasn't, when I went to school, it was like the end goal was to be an advisor, but there's all these different paths that you can go down when you go to school. And so I was challenged in a way when I decided to kind of, my background is in operations, to do this operations piece. And this voice was like, but you have your CFP, like you've got your education, you got your master's, like but I loved putting puzzles together. I love this operation piece. So if I hadn't, you know, given myself the space to be open to accept that there may be different options, but instead like stayed in this box of what it's supposed to be like. What does the book say? Or what does society say that I'm supposed to do based on all of my qualifications? I wouldn't have, you know, gone into operations and then realized all these different things. And then now I wouldn't be here. Like I pinch myself every morning when I get to show up and work with people. And so I think for me, it's been one of those things that there may be these boxes or these parameters that you go into your career and think, oh, it has to be done this way, but it doesn't. You can have happiness and you can have success. It's not either or. I think that was one of the biggest like light bulb moments for me when I was working with my coach. I always approached my I guess problems or challenges as either or, and she helped me understand what about and what if you can have success and happiness? What if life can be peaceful and you can have growth? And so all of these kind of things where I thought I had to choose one or the other, I embraced the and I think it was a pivotal moment for me because I had always thought in that either or. And so now every day that I come across something and my habit is to go back to the either or part. And now I kind of embrace the and. What if I can have both? What if I can have these things? And so for my experience, that's kind of what it's been for me.
Yeah, that's such a great point because often we think, well, we have to choose between work and time for ourselves outside of work, but we can't have both. And it is industry. It is an industry with long working hours typically. I know a financial advisor who works 6 days a week. He and his wife both work in the business 6 days a week. That gives them very little time to unwind and take care of themselves and their health and well-being and all those really, really important things. So the work-life balance, I mean, what would you say about the work-life balance and how advisors can improve their work-life balance without feeling they have to take a financial hit?
Mm. The part that has been the most challenging to me has been, I think it goes back to kind of those parameters, those boundaries. Well, if you want to have a successful business, you have to put in all these hours. You have to put in the blood, sweat, and tears in order to really get what you want out of it. And for me, I set that kind of on a shelf. That was this belief, this thought that I had to bring into my business. I put it on my shelf and I went through kind of this thought process of what do I want? What are my values? And how can I make my business be in alignment with my values as a whole, not my business values or my life values, but what for me as a whole, and to almost kind of embrace the work-life balance as just balance and kind of remove that band-aid of work-life balance and just what does that look like? And then write down what that looks like and then kind of go with the end in mind and approach it and say, I want to build a business where, I don't have to put in the 6 days a week, but I can still show up and I can still be successful in whatever that means. If that means I need to make X amount of money and I only want to work part-time, it's that and it's embracing the and then figuring out how to do that. And I think for me, when I first started challenging those beliefs, my brain kept wanting to go back to, no, it's not possible. That's not how you're supposed to do it. But just continuing to be gracious and compassionate with myself when I would hit those kind of, I guess, metaphorical brick walls and just say, no, how can I make this possible? Not yes or no, but how? What does it look like? It may look completely different, but how do we make this possible? And so I think that's the challenge for people if they're looking to really flip the script upside down and figure out what's best for me. It's going to be challenging, but just try. Just try, see what's going to make your life, see how you can make your life you want it, the way that you want it, and then plug the business plan into the back of it and really just challenge it. Change the numbers. Don't let any of these things kind of hold you back. Just go open-minded and try. See what happens.
Yes, I think that what you said is absolutely spot on. When I work with clients, we always start off with, what is your big, big goal? Just get logic out of the way, forget logic about how you're going to do it. What do you really, truly want? And that's what we work on the whole time we're working together. That is the goal, what they really, truly want. But I have found that when you're stuck with certain limiting beliefs about you can only have so much and you have to work long hours in order to be successful, then that also becomes like a rule for you. And it's very hard to break those rules from the same mindset, because you think, well, I've got to work hard to make more money. I'll have to put more work hours in the office, which is why people kind of cut off their ambition, because they said, I don't want to spend more hours trying to be more successful. So it's changing your beliefs, your rules about life. And that brings in the creativity, because otherwise we get very stuck into a certain pattern of thinking, often from childhood, watching how our parents made money, etc. So it is really changing that belief system, the core of it. And then that enables you to start thinking bigger, much bigger than you've ever thought before. And it's like, I can do this. I can figure out a way of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exciting, isn't it?
It really is. And I think once you open that door to curiosity and to creativity and just give yourself the permission to play, like, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to change anything about what you're currently doing. If that's what's driving whatever success that is for you, cool. But if you want to change some aspect of your life, or you want to think, okay, I don't like X part of my business, I don't like working 6 days a week, open that door to creativity and curiosity and play, and just give yourself the permission to see if you can do something different that honors both of the values that might be kind of, competing for the same thing. If you thought those two things can exist the way that I want them to, I challenge you, just go in and play with curiosity and creativity and just see what happens. And that's where I think I saw the biggest impact on my mindset was giving myself the permission, and then just reminding myself to have compassion as I went through this, because I'm learning new rules, or I'm learning these rules that I created or I allowed to kind of mold my life. And when you start kind of poking those and being like, those aren't true. Those aren't set in stone. I can define all of these things. It's a little bit scary because you're like, whoa. But then you go into it and you go in with curiosity and creativity, and then you get to play, and it unlocks. For me, it unlocked my heart, it unlocked my passion, and it unlocked this potential that I knew was deep down in my heart that I never thought I could reach. And so it really, for me, was life-changing to be able to give myself permission to play, to approach life with creativity and curiosity.
Yeah. The rules that we live by, most of them are not our rules. They're the ones we have absorbed from family, school, etc. And so society has given us our set of rules. But it's just so important for us to identify what they are. And the first step is always awareness. Okay, I'm stuck in this rigid pattern of thinking, which makes me do things on autopilot. Are my habits productive? Are they making me happy? Are they bringing me the results I want? if they're not, then take a look at the core of those habits, what is driving them. And they are the beliefs, are the rules that we have been living by without realizing that's what we've been doing. And it's so important to live by our rules. What makes us happy? Obviously, there are legal things, and we have to live life alongside other people. We can't just go crazy and do what we want. But in terms of how you live your life, the values, your lifestyle, all of those things, create your own rules. This is the most important thing of all, because then you start changing your behaviors, your habits, you start getting different results. But it does all start off with the belief system that you have. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to know, with the mindset that you have now, I'm sure one of the things that you learned was resilience. Mm-hmm. How do you cope with setbacks? How do you get over them?
Starting my business was the most exciting and fearful thing that I think I've ever done at that point in my life. But I want to back up just a little bit. When I decided to go back to school and get my master's and kind of go on this journey in the financial planning world, when I found that like all of these things were aligning and it just became bright and vivid, and just my heart was just like, girl, you are in the right spot. You can do this. And so when I started listening to that, at that point in my life, I had a really good job. I had good benefits. I had a house. I was doing all the societal right things of like growing into being an adult and all these great things. And going back to school meant I had to give up all of those things. Like I had to move, I had to relocate. So I couldn't keep all of those things. It's kind of like those are the boundaries that you can't, like, that's when the and can't happen. And so when I figured out that I had to do all of those things, I had so many people that were my cheerleaders, that were in my corner, that were terrified of this decision that I was going to make. Like really questioning me, like, Lauren, are you okay? Like you're uprooting your life to go and pursue this thing. What? And there was no doubt in my mind. And so it's like when I started listening to myself, and when I gave, basically the way that I frame it is like, I put everything on myself. I bet on myself. And there were so many people that were so worried about me, which, I appreciate and I understand now. It's just coming from a place of love, and they didn't want me to ruin my life. It was the best decision that I could have possibly made. And it changed my life. Like, I don't know how I would be living my life right now had I not done that. And so that was the first thing. And when I went and kind of did that, getting to my business and deciding to start my business was the next kind of scary, but like in like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it kind of way. It's like a roller coaster. It's like, oh, we're here. It's going to be great. So every day when I go through the kind of ups and downs of what I'm doing, it's hard, but I have to remember why I'm doing it and give myself the space to kind of be with the emotions when they come up. And that imposter syndrome or that voice is still there, but it's not as loud. And so I still give it space. I let it kind of go through the course of like, okay, yeah, you're telling me things are on fire, but they're not actually on fire. This is just a really hard day today where I'm having to juggle a lot of different things. But ultimately, the end goal is what I really want to do. And my heart is still in it. And I still value all of these things. So it really kind of goes back to the value and the new beliefs. So it's kind of like I've got these beliefs and they've got new beliefs tied to them. And so I go back to the new beliefs. I go back to the values that are the reason why I continue to go forward. And I kind of do an audit on my values to make sure that they're still true to me, or I can refine them even further. And so I think to help with the setbacks and to kind of build that resilience is to just be kind to yourself, be compassionate, and give yourself the space to have a bad day. It is okay to have a bad day. And so that's what helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you said there. It is so, so important to be compassionate, to be gentle, to be kind to yourself. And, because this is just a temporary feeling, and then it'll
Mm-hmm.
go and you'll be back up on your feet again.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest lesson, would you say, that life has taught you so far?
Oh, I think the biggest lesson has been to, as contradictory as this sounds, has been to really listen to that other internal voice when there's that nudge. I call it my intuition, but there's like this nudge of what you know really, I think the truth of what I really want to do, and the more and more I listen to that and lean into that, the louder that gets, the stronger it gets. But every time that I've leaned into that and listened to it and gave that intuition or that feeling or that voice space, it fills me with light. It fills me with all of this happiness and joy that I never gave myself the opportunity to do before. And so working on that and allowing that space for those things like that intuition to just be and to trust that has been probably my biggest learning moments in my life. And it feels so good. And I can't wait to see how it impacts my journey from here on. Like it's exciting.
Yeah, that's quite a journey when you are in connection with your inner voice. How have you built that connection with your intuition, with your inner voice?
I think the awareness is like when something comes up for me, sometimes I feel it in my heart. Sometimes I feel it in my head and it's mainly when I'm kind of at this fork in the road, if you will. I've got to make a decision, or there's this thing that I have to figure out, and I'm not exactly sure. It's not clear what direction I need to go. In the past, I kind of just white knuckled it and just gone with it, not really even giving it any thought. Now I take time. I think one of the rules was like, just go, go, go. Like you just have to keep going. You can't stall. You can't be still. You just have to go, go, go. And so that was one of my beliefs. And so I've challenged that, and I'm okay. That got me to where I am today, but I don't have to be in go mode. Let's take a break. Let's pause. And when I pause, that I give that voice, that intuition, that inner feeling time to just kind of come up. And then I think clearly. I'm not reacting, but I'm just being very intentional with, okay, I have this really strong feeling about what I need to do next. I have this other feeling of I should just go, go, go. This is a habit, and this is where I want to be. And then I make an intentional decision to move forward with the one that feels true. And most of the time it's my intuition. Most of the time it's that inner voice, but I just have to give myself the space. And so one was awareness, like where are those things coming up for me? And two, giving myself the space to let that voice or let that feeling be felt and heard.
Wonderful. I love it. Great stuff. So how can the people who are listening and watching this, how can they find out more about you and the incredible work you're doing?
Yes. So I am on LinkedIn, Lauren Winkelman. The last name is Winkelman. The other place is I've got my website for my company, which is rockmoneyscissors.com, all one word, all lowercase. And then you can also find me on Instagram. It's rock-money-scissors. That's my handle. And yeah, I'd love to connect with people and chat and hear about their mindset and everything else.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lauren. It's been such a joy to have this conversation with you.
You as well, Nina. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.